dear. Your call, please. Operator, I've been dialing Murray Hill 40098 now for the last 3 quarters for an hour, and the line is always busy. But don't see how it could be busy that long. Will you try it for me, please? Murray Hill 40098? One moment, please. Ringing Murray Hill 40098.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello, George?
Yes, sir? Hello? Who's this? What number am I calling, please?
We have heard from our client. He said the coast is clear for tonight.
Yes, sir.
Where are you now?
In Apunbut.
Okay. You know the address. At 11 o'clock, the private patrolman goes around to the bar on 2nd Avenue for a beer. Be sure that all the lights downstairs are out. There should be only one light visible from the street. At 11:15, a subway train crosses the bridge. It makes a noise in case your window is open and shouldn't scream.
Hello, what number is this, please?
Okay, I understand.
Make it quick, as little blood as possible. Our client does not wish to make her suffer long.
A knife, okay, sir?
Yes, a knife will be okay. And remember, remove the rings and bracelets. And the jewelry in the new drawer. Our client wishes is to look like simple robbery.
Okay, I get.
Oh, how awful, how unspeakably. Your call, please. Operator, I've just been cut off. I'm sorry, madam. What number were you calling? Why, it was supposed to be Murray Hill 40098, but it wasn't. Some words must have been crossed. I was cut into a wrong number and I've just heard the most dreadful thing. A murdered and operator. You simply have to retrace that call at once. I beg your pardon, madam. I don't quite... Oh, I know it was a wrong number and I had nothing business listening. But these two men, they were cold-blooded fans. Some poor innocent woman who was all alone in a house near a bridge. And we've got to stop them. We got to. What number were you calling, madam? That doesn't matter. This was a wrong number and you dialed it. And we've got to find out what it was immediately. But, madam... Oh, why are you so stupid? Look, it was obviously a case of some slip of finger. I told you to try Murray Hill 40098 for me. You dialed it, but your finger must have slipped. And I was connected with some other number. And I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me now. I simply failed to see why you couldn't make the same mistake again. On purpose, why you couldn't try to dial Murray Hill 40098 in the same careless sort of way. Murray Hill 40098. I will try to get it for you, madam. Thank you. I am sorry. Murray Hill 40098 is busy. Operator. Yes, madam? You didn't try to call the wrong number at all. I asked explicitly. And all you did was dial correctly. I'm sorry. What number were you calling? Can't you for once forget what number I was calling and do something specific? Now I want to trace that call. It's my civic duty. It's your civic duty to trace that call and to apprehend those dangerous killers. And if you won't,
I will connect you to the chief operator.
please,
This is the chief operator.
chief operator, I want you to trace a call, a telephone call, immediately. I don't know where it came from or who was making it, but it's absolutely necessary that it can be tracked down because it was about a murder. Yes, a terrible cold-blooded murder of a poor innocent woman tonight at 11:15.
I see.
Can you trace it for me? Can you track down those men?
It depends, madam.
Depends on what?
It depends on whether the call is still going on. If it's live call, we can trace it on the equipment. If it's been disconnected, we can't.
Disconnected?
If the parties stop talking to each other.
Oh, but of course they must have stopped talking to each other by now. That was at least 5 minutes ago, and they didn't sound like the type that would make a long call.
Well, I can try tracing it. Now, what is your name, madam?
Mrs. Stevenson, Mrs. Albert Stevenson, but listen,
And your telephone number?
plus of 42295, but if you go on wasting all this time,
And what is your reason for wanting this call traced?
my reason? Well, for heaven's sake, isn't it obvious? I overheard two men, they were killers. They're planning to murder this woman. It's a matter for the police.
Have you told the police?
No, how could I?
You're making this check into a private call purely as a private individual?
Yes, but meanwhile,
Well, Mrs. Stevenson, I seriously doubt whether we could make this check for you at this time just on your say-so as a private individual. We'd have to have something more official.
oh, for heaven's sake! You mean to tell me I can't report a murder without getting tied up in all this red tape? It's perfectly idiotic. I will call the police. Ridiculous.
Your call, please.
The police department, please.
Ringing the police department.
Police department. Oh, this is Mrs. Stevenson. Mrs. Albert Smith Stevenson of 53 North Sutton Place. I'm calling to report a murder. I mean, the murder hasn't been committed yet. I just overheard plans for it over the telephone. Over wrong number that the operator gave me. I've been trying to trace it down the call myself. But everybody is so stupid, and I guess in the end, you're the only people who could do anything. It was a perfectly definite murder. I heard their plans distinctly. At 11:15 tonight, she lived in a house near a bridge. And there was a private patrolman on the street. He was going to go around for a beer on a 2nd Avenue. And there was some third man, a client, who was paid to have this poor woman murdered. They were going to take her rings and bracelet and use a knife. Well, it's unnerved me dreadfully, and I'm not well. About 8 minutes ago. Oh, then you can do something? You do understand. Mrs. Stevenson, Mrs. Albert Stevenson, 53 North Sutton Place, that's near a bridge, Queensborough Bridge. You know, and we have a private patrolman on our street and 2nd Avenue. Murray Hill 40098. But that wasn't the number I overheard. I mean, Murray Hill 40098 is my husband's office. He's working late tonight, and I was trying to reach him to ask him to come home. I'm an invalid, you know, and it's the maid's night off, and I hate to be alone, even though he says I'm perfectly safe as long as I have the telephone right beside my bed. But the telephone company said they couldn't check the call if the parties had stopped talking. I've been taking care of that. Personally, I feel you ought to do something far more immediate and drastic than just check the call. What good does checking the call do if they stop talking? By the time you track it down, they already have committed that murder. I'd say the whole thing calls for a search and thorough search of the whole city. I'm very near a bridge, and I'm not far from 2nd Avenue. And I know I'd feel a whole lot better if you send a radio car to this neighborhood at once. Oh, I don't know. This coincidence is horrible. 2nd Avenue, the patrolman, the bridge. But I hear the call on the New York dialing system. I suppose not, but it is unhuman, so cold-blooded. But surely, me? Oh no, I hardly think so. I'm alone all day and night. I see nobody except my maid, Eloise. She's a big 200-pounder. She's too lazy to bring up my breakfast tray. And the only other person is my husband, Albert. He's crazy about me, adores me, waits on me hand and foot. He's scarcely left my side since I took sick 12 years ago. But what will you do? It's too late. It's nearly 11 o'clock. Will you broadcast it all over the city and send out squads and warrior radio cars to watch out, especially in suspicious neighborhood like mine? Oh, idiot. Now, why would I do that? Now he'll think I am a fool. Oh, why doesn't Albert come home? Why doesn't he?
Your call, please.
Operator, for heaven's sake, will you ring the Murray Hill 40098 again? I can't think what's keeping him so long.
Ring Murray Hill 40098. The line is busy. Shall I?
I can't hear it. You don't have to tell me. I know it's busy. If I could only get out of this bed for a little while. If I could get a breath of fresh air. Or just lean out of the window and see the street. Hello? Albert? Hello? 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 Oh, what's the matter with... Hello? Hello? Oh, for heaven's sake, who is this? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Your call, please.
Later, I don't know what's the matter with this telephone tonight, but it's positively driving me crazy. I've never seen such an inefficient, miserable service. Now look, I'm an invalid, and I'm very nervous. And I'm not supposed to be annoyed, but if this keeps on much longer,
What seems to be the trouble, madam?
well, everything's wrong. The whole world could be murdered, for all you people care. And now, my phone keeps ringing.
Yes, madam.
Ringing and ringing and ringing every 5 seconds or so. And when I pick it up, there's no one there.
I'm sorry, madam. If you will hang up, I will test it for you.
I don't want you to test it for me. I want you to put through that call, whatever it is, at once.
I am afraid that is not possible, madam.
Not possible? And why? May I ask?
The system is automatic, madam. If someone is trying to dial your number, there is no way to check whether the call is coming through the system or not, unless the person who is trying to reach your complains to his particular operator.
Well, all of the stupid, complicated. And meanwhile, I've got to sit here in my bed, suffering every time that phone rings, imagining everything.
I will try to check it for you, madam.
Check it, check it. That's all anybody can do. Of all the stupid, idiotic. Oh, what's the use? Hello? Hello? Stop ringing. Do you hear me? Answer me. What do you want?
Hello? Is this Plaza 42295?
Yes, yes. This is Plaza 42295.
This is Western Union. I have a telegram here for Mr. Albert Stevenson. Is there anyone there to receive the message?
I am Mrs. Stevenson.
The telegram is follows Mr. Albert Stevenson, 53 North Southern Place, New York. New York, darling, terribly sorry. Tried to get you for the last hour, but line busy. Leaving for Boston 11 p.m. tonight on urgent business. Back tomorrow after. Keep happy. Love. Sign, Albert.
Oh no!
That is all, madam. Do you wish us to deliver a copy of the message?
No, no, thank you.
Thank you, madam. Good night.
Good night. No, no, it isn't true. He couldn't do it. Not when he knows I'll be all alone. Some trick, some fiendish.
Your call, please.
Operator, try that Mariah Hill 40098 number for me just once more. Please. He's gone. Oh, Albert, how could you? How could you? But I can't be alone tonight. I can't. If I'm alone, one more second. I don't care what he says or what the expenses is. I'm a sick woman. I'm entitled.
This is information.
I want the telephone number of Henchley Hospital.
Henchley Hospital. Do you have the address, madam?
No, it's somewhere in the 70s. Though it's a very small private and exclusive hospital where I had my appendix out 2 years ago. Henchley,
One moment, please.
please hurry. And please, what is this time?
I don't know, madam. You may find out the time by dialing Meridian 7121.
Oh, for heaven's sake, couldn't you?
The number of Henchley Hospital is Butterfield 70105, madam.
Butterfield 70105. Nurses registry. I want the nurses registry. At once, I want a trained nurse. I want to hire her immediately for the night. Nerves. I'm very nervous. I need soothing and companionship. My husband is away and I'm... No, but I really don't see why all this catazing is necessary. I want a trained nurse. I was a patient in your hospital 2 years ago. And after all, I do expect to pay this person.
Your call, please. What number are you calling, madam?
You've got to hear me. Oh, please. You've got to help me. Someone in this house who's going to murder me. To get in touch with the... Oh, there it is. He's put it down. He's put down the extension. He's coming. There's police department. The police.
Ringing the police department.
Sorry, wrong number.